There is big change on the horizon for Battlefield 2042, including some immediate changes that we can expect in the next couple of months, which I'm going to go over in this video today. But as of the big announcement and shake-up of the Battlefield franchise, Battlefield has gone from one studio working on the game permanently, being DICE, to 3 separate studios working on the game permanently. We now have Ripple Effect, which was formerly known as DICE LA, and a new studio based out of Seattle. This is quite an exciting prospect, because for those of you who are unaware, Ripple Effect, formerly known as DICE LA, were responsible for the Battlefield 4 community maps, they were responsible for fixing a lot of the trouble in Battlefield 4, and they were responsible for every single Battlefield 1 DLC after They Shall Not Pass. They also created Battlefield Portal in the space of a year. Heading up all of this is Vince Zampella, and his studio, Ripple Effect, as well as the entirety of DICE and the entirety of the Seattle studio will be responsible for improving 2042 and expanding future experiences in the not too distant future. Now, for those of you who are unaware, Vince Zampella has been responsible for some serious blockbuster titles. He was responsible for Apex Legends, Star Wars The Jedi Fallen Order as the head of Respawn, Titanfall 2, Titanfall 1, Modern Warfare 2, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1, and Call of Duty the original game, as well as COD 2. He was also involved in the production of games such as Medal of Honor Above and Beyond, which was the new VR version of the game, and Medal of Honor Allied Assault. The Seattle studio happens to have one of the major creators behind Halo, and the man who created Master Chief himself. Now, in the aftermath of that shakeup was a commitment to make Battlefield 2042 a much better title, and improve the current situation in the game. They also teased the brand new map heading towards the game, as well as the fact that 64-player modes are coming to PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S. In this blog post, they also confirmed that Update 4 is coming before the entire development teams go on holiday for the Christmas period. The blog post details that they're also working on fan-favorite systems such as the scoreboard and will be bringing it back, as well as unspecified improvements to social systems, and rumours have speculated that the intention here is to increase the squad size from 4 players to 8 players, allowing communities and much larger groups of friends to play together in a single Battlefield server. So there is a lot changing in the aftermath of 2042. We're now seeing a new GM and effectively Ripple Effect almost kind of being promoted to the lead studio behind the game in a sort of temporary basis. And effectively 3 entire development teams are going to be working on content for 2042, fixing 2042 and making major improvements. And the DICE Stockholm team have already done a pretty good job in Update 2 and 3, which likely means that we can expect to see more improvements and fixes over the course of Update 4 and future updates in Season 1. So if you're wondering what's immediately going to change for 2042, not a lot. However, there will be the introduction of Update 4 before the end of the holiday season, which is super exciting, as well as the addition for limited time modes with 64 players on PC, PS5 and Xbox Series X. So you can now play the 64 player variants of these modes and even matchmake probably with your friends on previous generations. Also, for those of you who happen to see those Christmas skins that were floating around, those actually weren't intended to have gone live, and some of them aren't actually even going to be in 2042. Now, I can't tell whether this is just something that was in the game files, or perhaps something they made a U-turn on, but the intention seems to be that Battlefield is going to stick relatively grounded with the cosmetics in the game, but they will allow for some wackier cosmetics in modes like Battlefield Portal. Now, in early 2022, we have Season 1 dropping for Battlefield 2042, and the post-content for this game, or post-launch content for this game, has been in development for a very long time now, so it hopefully means that we're going to see this content come out sooner rather than later. Now, the new map is allegedly called Exposure, and it says in the blog post, whilst they didn't get any specific details about the setting or what it will involve, EA tells GameSpot there will be something special by taking map design to a whole new level. No idea what that means, probably just some marketing mumbo-jumbo for the time being. There are a lot of rumours going around that the new map is allegedly going to take place in Canada, with some more rumours speculating that landslides are going to be the environmental hazard featured in the map, which may in fact explain some of the whole taking map design to a whole new level. Now, if this is true, it's super exciting. It'll be great to see some variety of locations and maps in future updates, and again in Season 1 we can expect to see a fairly healthy addition of brand new weapons, possibly new vehicles, and new equipment that enters its way into the game, as well as new specialists as well. And of course, before the winter break, we get that update 4, meaning that 4 patches would have gone live before the game goes into the holiday period, which means we should see a lot of bug fixes and balancing passes finally completed before Christmas, which hopefully means that the game will be in a far less frustrating place over the holiday period as we wait for the developers to get back into office around late January, February. Now, in the future, it's said that we're going to see a new experience within Battlefield 2042. Now, we have no idea what that means, but we know that Ripple Effect are creating that new experience alongside maintaining support for the game and support for Battlefield Portal, which will also receive updates and additions in the future as well. This new experience could effectively be a 4th tile in Battlefield 2042, and we have no idea what it is. I personally think it probably could be a battle royale that's free to play that's releasing next year, but that's just my personal opinion, and nobody really knows what the edition is going to look like. It also appears that later on into the life cycle of 2042, the game is going to lay down the foundations for the next Battlefield experience or Battlefield game. There are going to be hints and narrative stories and potentially a few other indicators that will point us towards what the next Battlefield story is, what that experience is going to look like, and when it's going to release. Although I wouldn't expect that to build up anytime soon. The brand new experience coming into 2042 and this build up of all of this new narrative is probably going to be in the later life cycle of 2042. Initially we'll have, Season 1, Season 2, Season 3, and then I imagine at some point this new content that's being developed by different studios is going to make its way into the existing post-launch content. So, big changes coming to Battlefield, and 2042 definitely is going to receive a lot of attention in the lead up to that. It appears that the future of Battlefield is going to be heavily reliant on the code that's been built in 2042, and that may explain some of the reason why the game has not a lot in the way of content, but has achieved a lot technically in terms of physics, in terms of player count, in terms of just having a direct system where they can update things without having to require a patch. The code base for 2042 is going to allow for the future development of future Battlefield games to have an existing code base that works really well, one that can be very easily changed and adapted, and one where content can seemingly be added much quicker and faster than in previous Frostbite iterations of Battlefield itself. Now, whilst the core gameplay is going to be completely different in future Battlefield experiences, it's safe to say that a lot of time and effort is going to be spent on 2042 in the lead up to those new experiences dropping. I'm personally quite excited to see Ripple Effect and Vince Zampella have a bit more of a hold over the franchise. I don't necessarily think the guys over at DICE Stockholm are bad or have done anything wrong, but injecting fresh and new ideas into the game whilst maintaining core values is something that I think we can see, especially considering the guys over at DICE LA have been responsible for the community maps in BF4, post-launch content for BF1, and Battlefield Portal, which is something a lot of Battlefield fans really appreciate. Ultimately, for Battlefield to extend itself into being a really well done AAA shooter that lives up to expectations, it needs a multi-studio effort. Considering Battlefield Portal was made in the space of a year, it appears as though that the studios that were brought in to help 2042 were only really brought in to help and not really craft any experiences of their own, except for the case of Battlefield Portal. They were more assistance development situations as opposed to, we want to make something brand new and really interesting. And giving Ripple Effect lots of creative freedom to do something like that is a very exciting prospect, and I think it's going to lead to some real positives for the franchise. So that's about it for this video, folks. I'm interested to see what the future looks like. I'm interested to see what you think. 4 updates before Christmas is pretty healthy for Battlefield, even if the game did release in a pretty rough way. What are your thoughts and feelings? Let me know in the comment section down below. Feel free to leave a subscribe as well, as we're on the road to 100,000 subscribers, which is super exciting. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in another video.